Long story, but I'll cut it short. I thank God for her foundation, the Yaaf Foundation, and their goodwill for recovery, the recovery movement in Ghana, or Ashaiman especially. I've been through several rehabs. I've been through treatment centers and used different treatment modes for my addiction, but to no avail until I met the 12-step program. By courtesy of Dr. Megashi and the management of the House of St. Francis. But I couldn't have done it without my fellow recovering alcoholics and addicts. It has not been an easy journey, but it has been worth it. Alcohol and the drugs that I lifted in high esteem. But when I came to meet a spiritual program and the need and the desire to grow spiritually, when my brain was healed, I could really calculate and learn. It was my mathematics that was actually disturbing me. I used to fail my math papers, but God being so good, that made me believe that the program truly works. And I applied for the university and I gained admission, and yes, so I've now graduated and I'm in my service. I'm doing my service, which is a dream come true. Dreams you never imagined could come to pass. Beyond your wildest dreams, the life beyond your wildest dreams will really come to pass. I really thank God for recovery. I thank God for the program. And I want to say that an addict, any addict, can lose the desire to use, stop using drugs, and find a new way to live, as I have here. I'm still a work in progress, but I still thank God that it's one day at a time process. So just for today, thank you for having me.
6 August 2022. But just for today, no salute, rock and tie, Diazepam, D10, Rafinol. That's for today. Thank you for having me. Me da St. Francis, me da Nancy Pa. I said, na me nimu say, me to me ada hapo. I said, me nimu drug and lock and tie. Me nimu 5 pesos. They were 15 years, 16 years now, I'm starting. Me 18 years now, me 3 times. Me board rock, Gomoza, Brown. Me no mad rice. Me 3 weeks, ganja. Nyamenim. But me 3, they be a
On the 26th of July 1993, the person talking to you today was deceived to the Addictive Diseases Unit after graduating from the University of Ghana, just because he was afflicted with the disease of alcoholism and nepotism. I've been a person who had been addicted to alcohol for about 27 years, so I have started my testimony. On that fateful Monday of 26 July 1993, because I had left Kolegu on my own and drinking in the village wherever I could get alcohol, but because I had given up. And that was the beginning, and I had to go back to the ministries, have my interview, and was recruited as a nursing officer at that time. That was the beginning. So I decided to do so much for drug addiction. And at the time I was talking about, in 1993, the Addictive Diseases Unit was the only established center for drug addiction management in the country outside the psychiatric hospital. Pastors were of the opinion that drug addiction was actually as a result of demonic possessions. The pastors and our traditional healers do everything possible to cast out the demons causing their addiction. With the development of medical technology and improvement in scientific researches into what addiction really was, the mystery around addiction was cleared and is now known to to be a disease, a chronic disease like hypertension, diabetes mellitus, and asthma. The God factor in the 12 steps that makes us to find abstinence and sustain our recovery over the years. It says that, let me look at the first 3 steps. We admitted that we were powerless over our addiction, that our lives had become unmanageable. Then in step 2, it says that we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. And in step 3, we made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. When these things are taught and we are sure of our clients imbibing the principles, then we discharge them into another program which we call the aftercare. There is little governmental involvement in the management of substance use disorders and treatment. We have seen on the manifestos of all political parties their concern about substance use disorders or addiction in this country. But their effect, their impact is slightly felt in the Narcotics Control Commission. We don't see national support for these private rehabilitation centers, leading to exorbitant charges. And these end up being barriers to the assessment of professional counseling. So it is getting difficult for parents to check in their clients who may be desirous of change, but because of financial distance. So I'm using this medium to appeal to the government that they always announce private support, the government support for the private, private policies should be enhanced so that rehabilitation centers like the ones that I'm talking about here, about 10 of them in Accra, would have the needed support and the possible scholarship for further training for those who are in the treatment areas. One of the characteristics of persons with substance use disorders is that they don't want to take ownership of their disease. They always think that somebody else is not treating them well, somebody else is responsible. My siblings have been treated differently from me, and so we pastors, genuinely, whether they have seen or have seen the prophecies, we are pleading with them not at the genesis of the treatment, because the responsibility of recovery is supposed to be coming from the client. That is why we don't blame anybody for having the disease of addiction, but we hold them responsible for their recovery. So recovery is possible. In summary, recovery is possible. It comes to those who have the desire to change. I have a slogan that is resonating in all the rehabilitation centers in Ghana. It says, Kaatahi. Kaatahi. Don't touch it. Men found sanka. Megakashio. Because when you don't touch the alcohol, you don't have a problem. When you don't touch heroin and everything, after all these periods of reprieve, it is sitting down somewhere. Don't touch it. Because if you don't touch it, you don't relapse. If you don't touch it, you don't start the process of experimentation to addiction. Don't touch it. And the latest that I'm selling to you here is that if there is no contest, there is no contest.
As a legal practitioner, I remember the idea of this foundation came the very moment I took that decision to go into law. And that is because I was a journalist before I went into law. And I happened to do stories that were related to women and children. I hate to hear that a woman has been abused, a child has been molested, abused, and so on. So those were cases I was following. So at a point, I got that call to go into the legal profession. And so I took that bold decision. And at a certain point, I realized that we have people who are denied access to justice just because they can't afford the services of a lawyer. And so basically this was the reason why a group of young lawyers, that is legal practitioners and alternative dispute resolution practitioners, came together, put Yaaf Foundation together basically to offer legal aid to the needy and the less privileged. Now, our focus is not on just anyone who commits an offense. Our focus is on people who have genuine legal cases but can't afford legal services. When I say genuine legal cases, I mean people probably by circumstance, by whatever means, they find themselves in some situation that they need legal representation. So, as I said earlier, Yaaf Foundation has two mandates. Our first mandate has to do with provision of legal service to complement the legal aid. So, meaning we are offering free legal representation to the poor and the less privileged. That is our first mandate. The second mandate has to do with creating awareness about the dangers of drug abuse, the possible recovery processes, and the God factor in permanent recovery. Yes, these are the two mandates for Yaaf Foundation. It's a group of young lawyers, as I said earlier, ADR practitioners and doctors who have come together to offer this service to the needy and less privileged community. Yes. So what is next for us is that we want to make noise about our existence because we want the right people to hear about us. Even though we can be reached on the various social media handles or platforms, we want any opportunity that will be given by the media for us to tell the world what we are giving back to our society. We want to go all lengths to do that. Yes, there has been challenges in the sense that from the background, we have been offering free legal services. And as I said, I don't do this alone. I have senior lawyers, I have colleagues, and then other people who are assisting me. And even though the lawyers come on board with their expertise to do pro bono for cases like this, whichever way, I need to meet them halfway. I need to pay their transportation. People can't even afford filing just a simple document at the court. These are things Yaaf Foundation want to do for people, not just paying for the legal representation, but we also want to pay for the various things they'll be filing in court. So one of the major challenge we encounter is money, funds. But notwithstanding, people have always come to our aid. As I said, we've been doing it at the background. So we've had some few support from families and friends. And so for the rehab, yes, one way or the other, we have made it a point to meet them with foodstuffs and other things quarterly. That is our contribution towards them because they have people who are at the rehab and they can't even afford a penny. And so the rehab will have to pay for their stay here for 6 months, some of them 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and the families don't even want to accept them back. Yaaf Foundation comes back to bring the family and such recovery patient together. Look, they have recovered. Once they have been certified that they have been recovered, they need to be accepted back into the society and into their various homes. We can't go to individual houses to look for drug addicts, you understand? But as I said, this is a center that is known. It's a center that is known. And I must commend the Catholics because this home belongs to the Catholic. And they've been funding this center for a very long time. It's just recently that some few donors are coming in. So anytime I want to help, I come here. And indeed, there are people who are here and can't afford their services. So those are the people we come to their aid. And our day-to-day activities, we meet people at the restaurant, at the bar, even on our various streets, at the lorry parks, and that, we meet people who are drug addicted. I go for evangelism a lot. So anytime I go for, especially in the slums, I meet a lot of people who are so deep rooted in drugs. And these are the people I seek to bring them out from their addiction. So basically, that is it. I want to tell everyone going through drug addiction is that, look, I am not saying this because I formed a foundation. My home, my family, we are living testimony. My younger brother was deep into drugs for 18 years. We fought it with all the family assets. Today he's out. If my brother is out after 18 good years, he has gone back to the university. He has finished the university, he's doing his service. I want to tell the whole world that drug addiction, recovery from drug addiction is so possible. It is so possible. Once we look at the medical aspect, once we put money in, let's not forget to invite God to be the overall healer, because the God factor in permanent recovery is also real.
Thank you for watching Nation One TV. Kindly subscribe for more news updates.